Now we are accelerating urbanization through the extinction of future generations in rural areas, because people in the countryside already face great difficulty finding a partner and starting a family, even if they have children. To ensure better education, they are forced to leave rural areas and live in the cities. When these children grow up and look for a partner, they will also need a job in the city, a house in the city, or else the extinction of future generations will be the only outcome in this region. Such marriage standards will lead to fewer and fewer people remaining in rural areas. Now, rural areas are gradually disappearing silently, and the population in rural areas is decreasing, not because everyone has become wealthy, but because many have been silently eliminated by society.
In rural areas, like my family's situation, there's no hope of finding a wife anymore. A used car, a simple one-story house. It seems like these conditions already predict the outcome. The house has only one floor, no air conditioning, and the summer heat is unbearable. With these conditions, who would be interested? This house has been built little by little, and it was only last year that we managed to get it to look like this. But even so, I know that in rural areas, we have no competitive advantage. The room also doesn't have air conditioning, and just not having that is enough to scare off many girls. Although this room has air conditioning, it's easy to notice that the two rooms in front, plus this one, don't even have a wardrobe. No wardrobe, so where would a girl who likes to dress up put her clothes? This room is my sister's, who divorced and now works in Guangdong. But this is still her home, and no matter where or when, this room will always belong to her. For some girls, having a sister-in-law at home becomes another emotional barrier. So some things are really difficult. Really difficult. We don't have decent household appliances. No TV, no fridge, no fan. To be honest, with a family like mine, even in our village, we're at the bottom. I don't dare ask for anything. Maybe being alone is my destiny in life. The family shop is simple. The shelves are made from wood that we cut ourselves. All of this to save money. The kitchen was also made by me, just to save costs. Sometimes, I really want to give up. Just lie down and stop worrying about everything. A lifetime, for what? I really don't know for what. My mother is also not well. She has to take medicine every month, because she has Parkinson's, and her hands and feet are always trembling. With my family's situation, do you think there's any hope? I don't think so. Honestly, I don't see any hope. Maybe life is just like this. And sometimes, overthinking things isn't good at all.
Brothers, in the past, because my family was poor, I never thought about finding someone to marry. But now it's different. All my classmates, co-workers, and friends have partners, and many of them are already married. Now I feel lonely, because there's no one to hang out with. I don't know what's going on, but lately, I've been feeling very restless. Every night, when I lie down in bed alone, I can't fall asleep. Please help me. Convince me to give up on this idea. Especially my fans. Is there anyone out there who had financial difficulties and still forced a marriage? Tell me about the pressures you faced after getting married. Help me snap out of it. Honestly, after so many years of being poor and single, I've kind of gotten used to it. But suddenly, after turning 30, when I see that almost all my friends have settled down, I feel a bit anxious. Recently, I've started having restless thoughts. At 33, I've been wondering, if I want to find someone, is this the last chance in my life? But if I really go for it, then I'll never have the chance to avoid this fate. This morning, just past noon, my father was already at the mahjong table, fighting for money for my dowry. And me? I woke up leisurely, washed my face, and had breakfast. I don't know if this kind of life counts as freedom, but it's definitely a slow pace. While others think about clocking in for work, I think about what I should do in the afternoon. If all goes well, I'll probably edit a video in the afternoon, read a book, watch videos of beautiful women, and before I know it, the afternoon is gone. This has been a true picture of my life this year. No job, no office work. If I run out of money, I make a video. Because these days, you can still earn around 1,000 yuan a month with videos. After eating, I'll prepare some honey water to drink. All day long. It's just this relaxed, carefree routine. I've become what people call a useless person. But in my mind, I'm getting closer and closer to freedom. Honestly, a lot of people envy my life, but many also think it's boring. Personally, I'm a homebody, so staying at home and feeling bored is something I can accept. Most of the time, I enjoy this lifestyle of avoiding the wind and rain. I honestly don't envy those who earn more than me, because they've sacrificed too much. I also don't care about the gossip in the village. I never listen to it. But occasionally, when I pass by the door of someone who's married, and I see the red happiness stickers on their windows, I feel a little reflective inside. When walking through the village, I think about taking a different route, but there aren't many houses where no one has gotten married, so I always run into it. The friends who once swore they'd never get married, or my childhood friends from the same village, now all have wives and are busy with their lives. At moments like these, I feel a bit helpless. I could also say, like others do, "Oh, my life alone is great. Being single is so free. Why get married?" But when I ask myself, I think, what if one day marriage becomes easy? If it were easy to get a house, a car, and find someone I like, who wouldn't want that? The truth is, I just can't make it happen. So, as an older single man, my most honest feeling right now is a bit of helplessness. I've worked before. I just took this year off. I've hustled before, but after so many years of effort, all I managed to buy was a house in the county. And even then, I still got rejected during arranged dates. I don't even know what to say. Should I try hustling again? Haha. But if I do that, that life is just way too hard. I don't know what life looks like for others over 30, but when I look at myself, it's honestly pretty ridiculous. In real life, I say I'm not interested in women. But online, I follow hundreds of female streamers who dance and do live shows. While I say I don't care, at the same time, I feel powerless. In the end, whether I truly care or not doesn't even matter. What matters is, even if I care, what can I do about it?
30 years later. Do you think there will still be people in the countryside? 30 years later. The countryside will be empty. There will be no one left. No one to farm the land. So, will there still be anyone living there? Even the royal buildings have no residents. Nowadays, there's already no one living in those houses. No one. And in 30 years, there will be no one left. 30 years. Everything will change. Everything in the countryside. No one will live there anymore. The houses will remain empty, completely vacant. And there will be no one left. Will everyone be in the cities? In the cities, conditions are better. But in the countryside, conditions are poor. You can't earn money. You can't make a living. How will anyone find a wife like this? Grains don't bring any financial return. And every year there's drought. Farming doesn't make a profit. What's the point of that for the family? The young people are all going to school. But in the end, they can't make money. In our town, not even one. Not a single enterprise exists. Not even a single enterprise in the whole area. Right? Now, we only have supermarkets. But not even a single enterprise. What do we gain with a few supermarkets? Nothing. There are no places to earn money. In the countryside, if you have skills, what can you do here? At the supermarkets, how much do the employees make a month? A person earns, at most, just over 1,000 yuan a month. 1,200. 1,400 at most. And now, how much is my monthly pension? My monthly pension is only 150 yuan. What do I do with that? You know that nowadays prices are high. And it's not enough. It doesn't even cover basic needs. Young people like this. Most of them are outside. In the cities, have you forgotten? Most people buy houses for their grandchildren. But who pays for it? It ends up like this. Everyone leaves. There's no one living around here. The houses are unoccupied. No one lives in them. Look around, there's no one nearby. It's just the two of us here. This whole area. It's just us. In this house. Do you see anyone? There's no one. Everyone moved to the city. Everyone left. Got in their cars and went to the city. Other provinces have better conditions. It's more convenient to buy things. And you can make money. Now, in the countryside, you can't earn a penny. No one wants to stay in the countryside anymore. You say that in the countryside people can farm. Sell some vegetables. Like cabbage. But other than that, you can't make any money. The main problem is there's no income. No source of economy. No source of revenue. If there were a factory, people wouldn't have to leave every day, right? If it were close to home, no one would want to go far to work. But now there isn't. The conditions here are bad. No one wants to invest. No one comes to invest. Because the conditions don't keep up. In this way, the women are also leaving. Everyone is moving to the cities. Are the conditions in the city good? Is there money? Workers earn only a few thousand yuan a month. But I'm a farmer. And I earn only 150 yuan a month.
你们发现没有呀？农村男青年也开始躺平不结婚。
Have you noticed? Young men in rural areas are also starting to lie flat and not get married anymore. In our village, there are some men in their 30s who don't even go out to work. Even when someone introduces them to a potential partner, they firmly refuse. They say, being single is just fine like this. But what about marriage? It means moving to the city to work as a slave for a boss and having to raise children. And the wife? She would stay home taking care of the kids, with the couple living apart, always separated for long periods. In the end, having a wife or not doesn't make a difference. They also say that getting married means buying a house in the county which costs tens of thousands, a dowry costing tens of thousands, a car for tens of thousands, and on top of that a wedding, which also costs tens of thousands. And if things don't work out, in a few years due to relationship issues, they end up getting divorced. And in the end, they are left with nothing but emptiness. They also say that poor people who get married end up spending all their parents' retirement savings, still having to borrow money from relatives and friends, and carrying decades of mortgage debt, impoverishing their children, burdening their wives, trapping themselves, and making their parents suffer. They think that lying flat and not getting married is the best option. Living life without worrying about the future, without being hurt by difficult relationships, without adding burdens to their parents, and without dragging their children into hardship. They also say that if they don't get married, as long as one person eats well, the whole household will be fed. With a few acres of land to farm, there's not much work to do in a year. They can eat whenever they want, drink whenever they want, sleep whenever they want, play whenever they want, free from restrictions, not needing to care about others' opinions, and no one would dare bother them. Isn't this kind of life enjoyable? They also say that after turning 60, they can enjoy government welfare, with the government taking care of their retirement. No worries about food, clothes, housing, or money. When they fall sick, the government covers all the medical expenses. At home, there's someone to clean for them. When they can no longer move, they'll have dedicated caretakers. And when they die, someone will organize their funeral. Look at how pleased this makes them. What do you think of this phenomenon?
跟你们说个真相吧，其实
Let me share a truth with you. The reality for most men nowadays is this: playing the same games until they get bored, having a WeChat inbox with no new messages, and living with their own loneliness. At night, they are usually alone, lying in bed and scrolling through videos on their phones. When they come across something funny, they laugh. But when they see something sentimental, it hits them right in the heart. They'd rather stay single than settle for less. They understand that what isn't meant for them isn't worth forcing. It's not that they don't want a relationship. But they know their worth and don't want to hurt anyone. In quiet moments, they stare into the void, imagining a future hand in hand with someone special. But reality is what it is. All they can do is silently scroll through their WeChat moments, watching other people's stories unfold.
In the vast rural areas of China, a silent yet profound change is taking place. As the youth leave their villages in search of opportunities in the cities, the men left behind face a harsh reality. Getting married and starting a family is becoming increasingly difficult. This is not just a personal dilemma, but a reflection of a larger transformation in the social structure. Urbanization has created a situation where, in the villages, men are numerous, but women, who move to the cities for education and professional opportunities, are scarce. The marriage market, once a field of possibilities, has now become a true battleground, and many men are being left behind. The problem goes beyond the difficulty of finding a partner. It is an issue of identity, of understanding one's value and social role in a constantly changing world. This scarcity of women in the countryside is not just a demographic issue, but an economic and social crisis. The demand for men in the marriage market grows, while the supply of women diminishes, and the expectations of these women, which were once based on traditional standards, are now much higher. They seek not only financial stability, but also a better quality of life. In this game, many men are losing, and those with weaker economic conditions are often left aside. However, the pressure does not come only from outside. Society has rigid expectations about the role of men, having a house, a car, a stable income. These are the requirements to become a desirable candidate in the marriage market. But for many of these rural men, the reality is cruel. They find themselves forced to increase the dowry or adapt to the market's demands, which are often beyond their means. This situation is forcing many to make a painful choice, adapt to what is possible, or accept what seems to be the only path. Some try to improve their economic conditions with great effort, but others, faced with the harsh reality, end up surrendering to a less desirable but more viable solution, becoming a beneficiary of the 5 guarantees, a support system for the most vulnerable. For these men, this choice is a form of resignation, a way of accepting the lack of prospects in the marriage market and adjusting to a reality with no expectations of change. What lies behind this is not just the lack of partners, but a reflection on self-worth and social role. For these men, the idea of becoming a 5 guarantees beneficiary is not just a survival solution. It is a silent protest against a system that offers no viable alternatives. It is a choice that reveals discomfort with the current society and an adaptation to a reality that many do not desire, but end up accepting due to lack of options. This life choice is not just a reflection of poverty, but a reaction to social and economic pressure, a way of recalculating one's place in the world. The phenomenon of rural bachelors who accept this reality with no expectations for a better future shows how the social and economic structures of rural China are changing in a profound and silent way, and how these men are struggling to find a place in this new scenario. Instead of simply accepting defeat, they are, in a sense, challenging the system that pushes them into this situation. What seemed like a passive choice is, in fact, a form of resistance, a way of redefining their value in a world where the rules seem not to favor them. It is a reflection of a country that is transforming, but where there is still much to be done to ensure that everyone, no matter where they are, has a dignified future. What do you think? Is there any possibility that the rural areas in China will still be alive in the next 30 years? Leave your opinion in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. See you in the next video.